The clock is ticking and the date is getting closer and closer. One of the biggest fights of the year is near, an epic showdown of the first ever undisputed versus undisputed fight in boxing history. The world of boxing will see the return of one of its biggest superstars when he defends his undisputed super middleweight championship against none other than the fearless, undisputed light middleweight Jermell Charlo. This is surely going to be one for the history books. Saul Canelo Alvarez, undoubtedly the king of boxing, needs no introduction. Canelo has undeniably risen to prominence in the sport, positioning himself as a potential all-time great. Between 2018 and 2022, the Mexican held the title of the consensus pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the sport, and he did so by a significant margin. He also became the sport's biggest box office draw during this time, attracting numerous challengers eager to dethrone him. His journey to the top began with a decisive victory over his longtime rival, Gennady Golovkin. The win set him on a path of extraordinary performances, eventually leading him to becoming a 4-weight world champion. Alvarez even ventured briefly into the light heavyweight division where he knocked out Sergey Kovalev to claim the WBO light heavyweight title. However, Alvarez had his sights set on the super middleweight division, and he wasted no time. He dropped down in weight and targeted Callum Smith for the unified WBA and WBC championships. He carried this momentum into a showdown with the brash Billy Joe Saunders, forcing him to surrender the WBO strap after 8 grueling rounds. Then, in November 2021 came the crowning achievement when he captured the IBF world title against Caleb Plant. In less than 12 months, the Mexican sensation had defeated every notable title holder, establishing himself as the first and only undisputed champion in the super middleweight division. Having engaged in 63 bouts, Alvarez has emerged victorious in an impressive 59 of them, delivering knockout blows to his opponents on 39 occasions. But the Mexican's prowess extends beyond his offensive capabilities. He is a virtuoso of defense. His seamless head and body movements, coupled with innate defensive instincts, enable him to elegantly evade incoming punches and respond with devastating force. Witnessing Canelo in the ring, like observing a masterful ninja. He effortlessly slips and dodges punches, striking with the precision of lightning bolts. His combinations are deadly, and his defensive finesse remains unquestionable. It's abundantly clear why anyone entering the ring with the freckled-faced redhead Mexican would be scrutinized closely and often labeled the underdog. Yet, it is crucial not to downplay the man occupying the opposite corner of the ring, Jermell Charlo, a true hidden treasure within the realm of boxing. As he strides into the ring adorned with those lion-themed entrances, it's akin to a declaration of his dominion over the light middleweights, asserting his status as their undisputed king. Charlo's journey to undisputed status was nothing short of epic, a quest that would test his mettle, his will, and his warrior spirit. In the heart of Texas, a young Jermell Charlo laced up his gloves, dreaming of greatness. He knew that to become undisputed champion, he would have to conquer the best of the best, leaving no stone unturned and no opponent undefeated. And so, one by one, he faced the toughest challengers the division had to offer. Victory after victory, he left a trail of fallen foes in his wake, each bout bringing him one step closer to his ultimate goal. But the road to undisputed status was fraught with peril. There were moments when it seemed as if Charlo's dream might slip through his fingers. In a grueling battle against Tony Harrison, he tasted the bitterness of defeat, a setback that could have broken a lesser fighter. But Charlo dusted himself off, trained harder, and reclaimed his lost crown in a dramatic rematch that had the world on the edge of its seat. By July 2021, Charlo had a firm grip on 3 out of 4 super welterweight bouts. But the last piece of the puzzle was in the hands of Argentine fighter Brian Castaño. Anticipation was high for what was supposed to be Charlo's triumphant night, but the outcome was far from what anyone had foreseen. A split decision. A draw. It felt like a plot twist in a thrilling story, as though destiny had other plans. The draw signified that Charlo's journey wasn't complete. The elusive 4th belt remained unclaimed, and the story was far from over. 10 months later, another chance at becoming undisputed came with the rematch between both fighters, and the world watched in awe as these two warriors left it all in the ring. and Charlo had no intentions of reliving their previous encounter. And in the 10th round, he left no room for uncertainty. When Charlo enters the ring with his Grand Lion-themed walk-ins, it's a declaration of his dominion over the light middleweights. His signature move, the power jab, is one of the sport's finest. But let's talk about his firepower. Charlo boasts an impressive record of 35 victories, with 19 of them ending in his opponents taking unexpected naps. He's undeniably one of the hardest hitters in the division. Charlo's left hook is legendary, akin to a missile that transitions from body to head in the blink of an eye. In his rematch against the undefeated Castaño, he demonstrated the lethal precision of this left hook, dropping his opponent and following up with a combo that felt like a fireworks finale. With his victory against Castaño, Charlo earned the title of Undisputed Super Welterweight Champion of the World, and he's hungry for more. However, what adds intrigue to this matchup is Charlo's leap in weight classes to compete against the mighty Canelo. Yet many overlook Charlo's substantial size advantage. A mere glance at their face-off tells you that Charlo is the bigger man. Standing at 180 centimeters, he towers over Canelo's 173 centimeters, and he enjoys a 6-centimeter reach advantage as well. The size and reach advantage provided critical in his fight against Charles Hatley. Just watch what happened.
But he just got nailed and down he goes. Charlo runs with a huge right hand. That's it right away.
Some even argue that Charlo has been a weight bully throughout his career, capitalizing on competing in a division lighter than his natural size, which allowed him to secure world titles that might have eluded him in heavier divisions like 168 or 175. However, the question still lingers. Will moving up in weight affect Charlo's performance in this match? There is obviously an advantage for Canelo competing in familiar territory, however. It's not a momentous disadvantage, and it's one Charlo can overcome if he fights well and avoids major errors. Taking another close look at the two fighters, Canelo has been the more active. Charlo, in contrast, hasn't competed in the ring for over a year since his last fight against Castaño, raising questions about whether he is in his prime form. Stepping into the ring against the fighter with more experience is a challenge, but facing a more active Alvarez is like entering the lion's den. However, while Charlo may not be as active as Canelo, he's proven himself on the biggest stages, and there's a reason he's undefeated. Canelo, at 32 years old, has nearly 2 decades of professional boxing under his belt, bringing him closer to the twilight of his career. And there have been concerns about his stamina levels, which seem to wane in the later rounds of some fights. Fights like the one against John Ryder, where he appeared fatigued as the match neared its end, allowing the Brit top to enjoy some dominance. Stamina has been a bit of an issue for Canelo recently, but he's also shown he can manage it well. He fought through tough bouts against Gennady Golovkin even when low on gas. But what if he can't score a knockout against Charlo? Will his stamina hold up against an opponent who challenges him throughout the entire fight? Canelo might be one of the top pound-for-pound boxers, but he's not invincible. We've seen this when he faced Bivol, who exposed Canelo's struggle to break through his technical strength. Bivol's jab was on point throughout the fight, and Canelo had trouble landing clean punches. Bivol outlanded Canelo in every round, leading to a 115-113 victory in Bivol's favor. Regardless, Canelo remains one of the world's most dangerous fighters, with several years of experience against elite opponents, and now the pressure is on for him to defend his titles and maintain his elite status. This showdown promises a high-stakes, intense competition and a battle for the ages. Will Canelo's experience be too much for Jermell, or will Iron Man pull off the upset of the century and reshape Canelo's career?